Good morning, guys. Give me a sec. Give me 1 second. All right. I have a live feed on in the back that you can't hear, so I might actually get the number. We'll see how quick I can get the number here. I might actually be able to get it pretty fast, so I might just say it before they even put it out there. So let's see if this will work today. I tied into a service that's pretty expensive, and they're supposed to be able to get it like within a little faster. So let's say I'm plugged into it. So on the internet, what's going on? All right, a lot. Let's just wait and see, and we'll go from there. I don't think there's really much to talk about. You're all over the street, man. Like you're all over the street. Let's clean the levels off. Let's get to it. Silly to look at levels until we see what this nightmare is. The fact that Trump's already screaming, Powell leads me to believe that, you probably got an issue. Hi, the ticker's the wrong date. What's the wrong date? What do you mean it's the wrong date? The 4th is coming. July 4th is coming, John, and I'm happy about it. That's why I've got the 4th there. And I've got that on the bottom too, because I can say my joke today, right? May the 4th be with you. Get it? All right. Okay. Here we go. 11 seconds. See if these guys are any faster. 110. There it is. They were not faster. 147. 147. So you should actually see some things fall apart here. So you should see like DPST, regional banks come in on that. Regional banks should drop. TNA should drop. They crushed it. And unemployment dropped. So you should really fall apart here. You really should be falling apart here on the DPST, on the nail, because they're not cutting rates. He's not cutting rates. Yeah, you're going to wind up running on it. So you're definitely going to wind up moving higher on this. So it's just a question of where, but you should definitely be moving higher. They're probably going to get out of regionals, I think, is where the head is. Give me a second here. It's a great number. It's a really surprised this stuff's actually building up. So
25.
I don't think that was any faster.
No.
I don't think that was any faster than the print itself. I have to go and take a look at the print. And when that came out, someone can let me know if I said it faster than what it was, but I don't think it was any faster. I would tell you that I think that this kind of stuff, I'd be surprised if this rally continues in this. I don't know why it would, candidly, but we'll see. But I don't know why this stuff would continue to rally. I think what would rally is going to be tech. I think tech would rally. I think like Oracle would rally. These kinds of stuff would rally. I don't know, I would think that tech rallies pretty hard on that, but because it shows how great the economy is. But I'm really surprised that they're saying that now's up or DPST's up. I don't think that that's going to be the case. I don't think that that's going to stay up. I think stuff like TNA will actually come in pretty hard, relatively speaking, to some of this other stuff. So I'm actually kind of surprised that this stuff's still bidding up. So let me just take a look here and see. But I would think that, because it's all regional banks. So, to me, yeah, I'm right. So to me, they would come in, those names would get hit pretty hard. Now, whether or not they do or not remains to be seen, but I would think that they would rotate out of these, pretty easily and then kind of go from there. That's where my head would be. DPST, TNA. That's where I think. So 80% chance of a Fed rate cut by, I'm just going through notes, guys. Bear with me. Rate futures now price about 80% chance of a rate cut by September, down from 98% before the record. Rate futures exit all their bets on July Fed cut after jobs report. Yeah, it's pretty much what I thought. So, I don't know how you would think that they're going to cut now. It's kind of interesting that you're not really bouncing at all on tech. And I don't believe that for a moment. I actually think that you're going to lift onto tech. I actually believe that you will lift on tech here. But let's see what really happens here on tech. And I'll get to the indexes in a second. You got to just give me a minute. But those numbers, they're going to skew everything. There's no way he's cutting rates. He's going to just come out and say, what do I have to cut rates for? Everything we're doing is great. We're the best, no matter what he does. It makes asking for rate cuts look kind of, silly here. It really does. So let's take a look at that. There's your 5. Do you have anything on the 1 that you could act off of? If that makes any sense. Let's see what you do there. See if you get through it or not. You might get through that. You might push here, guys. Let's take a look. Let's just watch this. There might be something fun to do here. See if we can make money. Give me 1 second. Let's see if we can make anything here. See, it's already there on the 5. See it? You already got it set up. So you already got your flag. So maybe we get the inside bar and then it goes and gives me a better stop. Let's just watch, see what we're doing here. Really surprised DPST hasn't come down yet. I think it's a matter of time before it does. Let me put an alert here so we can start looking at some of the questions that you guys have and go from there. But DPST, I'm really surprised. I'm surprised you're not falling apart yet. Same with now. They should be getting smoked, and they're not. TNA is, which that's why it doesn't make any sense, because TNA is coming in, and TNA will probably go down today. So you'll probably see that those come in pretty hard. I would think you're at least going to gap fill on it because you're not going to cut rates. He's not going to do it. EC president, we're ready for a deal. Rates now priced an 80% chance. All right, I'm just trying to see if I have anything I really have to go over with you guys. I don't see it yet. Let's go back to this. All right, well, you got to beep, beep, beep for us to get involved. And if it flips there, I would look at getting involved. But the 1 minute's telling me to go scratch right now, so we're not going to do that. I'd watch the control bar on Hood. That was not the best news in the world, what they did there. So it is what it is. I know people are like, it doesn't matter. It kind of does. People want to own companies. You want to own the actual company. Yeah, I'm really surprised by that. All right, let's see what we get here. So far, not seeing it. There it is. Get the flag. It's really good numbers for tech. I'm really surprised that you're not seeing more of it. You're actually seeing the opposite. Here goes Hood. Right to the top of that control bar. So that's your level. This is going to probably be more active today, guys, than me taking questions. I can already feel it the way this is going. Things are going to change. I can feel it. 0 chance of a rate cut. No chance of a cut. Anybody who listened to me when I said the number, let me know if I said it faster than it was on the tape. So just let me know. Someone put that in the chat, either here or in the private community. Ooh, that's ugly. I've seen ugly before. It's exactly what it looks like. I'm not really sure why they're not dropping on the. That's really bad. I'm not really sure why they're not dropping DPST yet, or these regional banks. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. Maybe because it's so thin. How much did we trade? There you go. There's your answer. How much nail did you trade? Not a lot, but there's your level right there. Let's see how much you rally here. Yeah, I'm not buying that, but let's see what you do. Man, that's ugly. Good Lord, that's ugly. What's your RSI look like? Oh. See ya. Should at least test that 94.83. D-Dog got added. I know you guys will be curious about that. D-Dog was added to the S&P. That actually makes a lot of sense to look at today. Nobody had that on their bingo card. There's no way people had that out there. That was going to be the one that was going to, not fall apart. So definitely worth watching, in my opinion. Definitely worth watching. There's no way people thought that was going to be the one that was added. There's just no way. PLTR is interesting. So you're holding that level. Question is, do people do a lot? Because now you're just going to have tariff risk all weekend. It's like, how much do they do? Right to the top of that, and that's it. So if you break there, you're pretty much hosed. You probably want to short it on the rallies. Crowd got an upgrade, so that's pretty interesting. But I don't really see much here so far. Really surprised. I'm just really, really surprised you're not getting killed in regionals. So what did the bond market do immediately following that? You just gapped up. What did the dollar do? What TLT do? You just imploded, which means TMF just imploded. So that'll go a lot lower. If it rallies, I would look at it. It's a great trading vehicle today, but if that rallies, you couldn't even rally past this. So it tells you what they're thinking. So there's the first minute bar, and you can't even rally past that. So definitely worth paying attention to. Because that should not be doing that. Like, they're definitely going to sell bonds. It's just a matter of time, but it's pretty interesting to watch. Let's watch TNA here and see if it comes back down, and then where it goes from there. We could probably do it through RTY and see this. And I got a bunch on, guys, so I got to do this more than anything else. Sorry, but the numbers are really good. They're really good. Additional jobless claims came in. We'll go over them all, but they're really, really good. So I just want to see how we act when we get there. Maybe I just put an alert there while we're doing all this. So I know, but it's really difficult to think that regionals rally on this or home builders rally on this. Matter of fact, you probably see them start really coming in pretty hard, and they're not. They're up. Well, can we call that up? Probably not. I probably should get a hold of myself. Let's go take a look at the ES and see what it did. Yeah. So it's interesting because you're not doing much. I mean, there's your 1 minute bar, and we mark that off. Let's take the low of it so we know where we're at. And then let's just take 50% of it and see what they're doing. So they're net buyers still. The move off that bar takes you to about 63.04. But we don't really need the fib. We don't need the fib from there, really. So let's just take that out so people don't get confused. But the 50% line, you still have net buyers of this market. So you should see you should see that. You should see them all coming in. But anyway, that's pretty interesting that you're there. Let's go take a look at a 5 and then kind of go from there. See where you're at here. Get your levels, get you going. Things are going to change. Bum, 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 bum. That's how I would start it. That's for sure. That's how you should be looking at it. And that's everything. There it goes. You're going to crack. Pop goes the weasel. Weasel goes pop. So now the question is that just going to be a rotation? And then we would probably go here. So we flip on the 5. I'd be curious about the 1 for a second. Did we get over? Yeah, you got over. And then they just smashed everyone's hope and dreams. So we'll leave it at the 5. Then we'll mark off the bottom of that 5. And then what we'll do is we'll drop a fib level on that 5 from here so we know where all the players are. See, they're going to hold this. And by doing this, what it does, okay, is it just lets us know a couple of things. Let me go take a look at this really quickly here and see what's happening. Okay, so you hit the same level and you held. So, bum, 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 bum. So you're holding that so far. But what you're seeing here is pretty much what I wanted to kind of point out. I still think you're going to break it. But here's your original bar, right? So here's the original bar. And if we mark off that bar here, and people always say, do you get in this level of detail? I do. So here we are on the 1 minute, right? And what are you saying? It's still weak. Can't even get over that low. So we know that whole space is going to be weak. And we know that RTY is what? We know 15.9% of it is regional banks, right? Regional financials. So that's probably not going to be a great day for them, right? And they're doing the slow death march. Like you see how you didn't bounce real hard off of it, right? Okay, so they're doing that slow kind of grind where they don't really want you to know, like frog in boiling water. Like they really don't want you to know what they're doing. So what I would say about this and what I think is important about this, if we take a look at it, and I do think we should look at it, is if we looked at RTY here, and let me just show you this for a second so you can say it. And I think that's really important. Give me 1 second. All right. So if we did this, let's just do this real quick exercise, right? I love stuff we can do together. So if we look at RTY there, right? And then we went here and we looked at NQ and we put the NQ here on the 5-minute chart. And then we put here and we did ES. What you'll note off those bars, and I'll just do it real quick so that you can see where I'm going with this. So there's the 50% line. See, they're all coming in. And there's the 5. You're going to note that RTY already broke, right? So it's telling you what they're going to do. It's already telling you that, right? Like you can see that, right? You guys already probably did this for yourselves. But like what you always do when you do this stuff is you're just looking at a comparison like, hey, what's going on? So I just think it's very, very helpful. And then you kind of go from there. So see what I'm doing? Okay. And then what you're doing here is just allowing things to work. Let's go back, take a look at some of these things that I'm short. Just want to see what they're doing. Yeah, so that's going to work. So let's just see. Where'd you close? Where was the close on that? Oh, so I got at least till 6 before you get there. I got time. I could take time in a bottle. All right. And yeah, you just want to chill there, I think. All right, cool. Let's get to some questions. I am going to have to keep it short, but okay. You guys got, what's up, Julian? Happy 4th. May the 4th be with you. I can't cover them all, brother. All right, let's do the ones that are going to be fun. So BBAI, all you hoople heads love this one. It looks awesome. You guys are killing it. The guys that are trading this in the room, they're absolutely killing it. You're getting a ton of volume. The question is, when you have that kind of volume, are you getting the move are you getting the kind of move that you want? Right? You know, are you getting the kind of move you want? I think you are. I think that, you see, you have 300 million shares, right? And you moved $1, roughly. So you moved $1.30. So it took you $300 million or $390 million to move there, plus add another 3. So it took you about $400 million to do that. See, what you always do is you look for patterns. Like you see where the vol started going the other way as it was going up. Like that's a problem. You don't have that problem here. Right? I'm spending a lot of time on that. Because I think there's something to it, Julian. Because there's other things too. Like you see this control bar right here. So you can't see my face. I'll try to get the camera working by Monday, but I had to change my schedule around. I'm just going to be in gym clothes, I think. You see where you're at right here? You can see how this plays out. I think if you can get into the top of that control bar, which you failed right here, I think you're going to move. The question really is, like, you see the volume and how it's hardly anything compared to where you were before? You're just getting exhausted. But if you can flip in there, I think you have something. it's a very interesting chart. And I don't like these kinds of names that often, but I do like what I'm seeing here. And it is something that I would play if I could get in there. That's why I'm spending so much time on it. SMCI, I mean, you can try. The problem is it's such a crowded short. 50-14, you have a big seller at 50-14. I can tell you that. ACHR, I like this space. I don't think this space is going away. You have a lot of people that want to be in, and you can see your levels. So I don't think long. I don't think short. I don't think there's anything to do there. I think you have a control bar. Everyone knows I'm like big with this stuff, but again, 100 million shares traded, and you moved $1. So you know what you're to really, right? Yeah, about $2. So you know what you're dealing with. You know, there's $200 million that moved that. So, you know, when you think about it like that, and this is what you're dealing with, and it's not going anywhere, that's your range, man. Like, it's really that simple. Don't overthink it. PLTR, I'd be super careful right here with the market, brother. I really would. Like, I would have thought you would have seen some relief in TAC, like a lot of relief. And instead, I'm seeing like this limp wristed attempt, and it's not groovy. So, you know, just make sure of it and look for these kinds of reversal bars and see if you're going to get through them. You know, I don't get into this too much, but, you know, just like indexes have that 830 bar, the algorithms will tell you exactly, especially for institutional names like PLTR, which it has become, obviously, but they'll tell you exactly where they are. Like, they'll tell you exactly where they are. And this is where they are. So that's your range. And so if you can start closing out of that range and making a higher high with those kinds of control bars, you get a really interesting entry, right? And this pattern, like what I do is I go from a 5 to a 1. Like this kind of pattern, up, down, 1, 2, 3, that is like the pattern in candlesticks. So, you know, so it is. And like that, they tend to go. Like, it's really hard to say that that doesn't continue to push. Like, if that goes, like, if you ever read Bukowski's book, like, you're really looking at it right now. You're actually watching it happen in real time. But if you ever read Bukowski's book on candlestick patterns, like, there it is. And you're staring right at it, but you have to complete. And it doesn't look like you're going to do that just yet. So see how that goes. Way too many things to go over. I shorted this yesterday, did really well with it. And it's definitely something that I would be paying attention to. And you're probably going to go there. And then you would just have to use that low on it. But you might push here. You might want to watch that. You might want to watch PLTR. That could actually go. What's it look like on the daily? Let's clean all my crap off for a second. It looks gross. Like gross. But he didn't break. So you might go, man. The problem is it enough volume this morning? I'm interested in this. Give me a second. Let's take a look at what you're doing here. Let me just see something. I'll tell you in a minute, man. A second. Yeah, I don't really have the volume that I want on it. You know, you can try it. I mean, it can go. It's actually setting up perfectly. It's just not something I'm interested in doing this morning. If I had the volume I'm looking for, which I don't have right now, I might do it, but I don't have that. Let me just go here for a second, see something. I can run something. I can run a scan real quick and see something. People are going to like freak out. Here's your IP address. Hold on 1 second. Give me 1 second, man. This is super interesting, actually. Oh, okay. Well, there it is, maybe. Yeah. Your implied vol is definitely picking up, and you definitely have a lot of buying on that bar, but you're still underweight on the volume side. So it's not great. So I'm not going to do it because I think it might fade it. Oh, where's my other trades? Okay, let me open that screen up. And there goes the Russell. So I'm still short there, but maybe later. We'll see. We'll go through these really quickly. What else we got here? What time is it? God, our time together is almost over. So sad. Dude, it's a massive red flag. And people are like, I can already tell that it's going to be a bigger issue than people think it is, because people are already arguing with me in the room trying to explain it. It's definitely, look, I think that there's going to be huge things that Hood's going to be able to do. I think they're going to be really good. I think it's a misstep to take a new technology, not explain exactly what you're doing, which is what this dude tends to do. I was long. I couldn't get out fast enough. You know, when it happened, like I legitimately could not get out fast enough of that name. So that's really where my head is with it. Not really much more for me to say or do about it, but that's really where my head was with it. Like, man, there's nothing for me to do here. Like, nothing. So I don't know that I'm right or wrong. I don't know that the hoople heads are going to care and they might run it. I can just tell you where my head is with it. And that's where my head was with it. So, you know, I'll go from there. But the Reddit I shorted, you can try it. I'd be real careful there, Jared. I'm not saying I'm right. I do think Apple's super interesting because it's so cheap. And if people want exposure to the market, they're going to buy it. And PLTR can work later, guys. Just don't let me and my, you know, like, I'm super picky with what I do. So, you know, it just didn't fit the criteria perfectly. So I'm not going to do it. But it doesn't mean that it can't work. It just does not for me. Yeah, if you can get through, you know, the fact that they came out and had a plan seems to be good. TMC, I'm not touching that thing. You can look at it. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know, man. I don't know what you're going to get there. Is that going to hold? Is that not going to hold? You know, that's a whole thing. So I'm not really feeling that. It's a little Earl Grey. What's up, buddy? What you got, buddy? What's going on, Kev? Yeah, I mean, I don't see it that way. Especially, I just don't see it that way. I don't know. May the 4th be with you, AMD. You know, everyone loves buying these like pullbacks. I just don't think it's that easy right here. But maybe it is. I mean, maybe you hold that level and you go from there. I would argue that, you know, what was said yesterday about NVIDIA is probably going to light NVIDIA on fire today. But, you know, what do I know? You know, like the fact that OpenAI is like, yeah, we don't really want your money. We don't want your chips. We're just going to stick with what we're doing. Like, there's a lot to that. So I don't know, man. You know, you might break out today, which is kind of funny, but you might, which is going to be super annoying. Good morning from Tokyo. Good morning from Miami. You could, I'd be looking at, you know, I guess, no, everyone's gonna be like Shocker. He's going to tell everyone to buy, you know, NVIDIA, but yeah, I am. You know, they did this stock split, and I think the stock split's a good idea. I think you're setting up here. I think you're going a lot higher. I really do think that. I think that, I don't know if today's the day to buy financials because of the news. You know, I mean, candidly, I'm short a bunch of financials. I did it right as soon as that number hit. I don't know if today's the day to buy financials. I like the way that this looks. I like the way a lot of these names look longer term. I don't know if today's the day you have to like jump in them. You know, with rates, like all of a sudden rates aren't going to be as great as people think they are. So I'm not really sure that today's the day that you have to do that. So we'll see. I'm going to try and do this super quick. What's up, Steven? Good morning. Watch the 14 level. Is that what it was? I haven't even gone through the numbers yet, man. I can go through it. Let me just say, is that what it was? 73,000 was that? Oh God. Is that what it was? I haven't gone through them yet. Let's go through the number. I'll just say them because I'm not going to click over real quick for time. Yeah, they added 73,000 government jobs. Non-farm private payrolls missed. Manufacturing payrolls were down. They added 73,000 government jobs. Oh yeah, that might be a thing. It might be worse than people think it is. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. That's a lot. So yeah, you haven't had that many jobs since 2024, unless it's a bunch of people that had to get put back on the payroll that he was trying to get rid of. I don't know what that is, but that's really interesting. Is the market going to care about that and say, he's got a cut? Are they going to get that particular? I don't know that they are today, considering what they're expecting. And why are there so many jobs like that? That's really interesting. I wish I saw that earlier. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. Well, it's interesting because if they might talk about that, like, hey, these are the people we had to put back on payroll because of the court orders or something. I don't know, but they're not going to cut jobs. He's still going to look at it and say, labor market's good. The other problem with that number, and I guess we are going to do this promise broken. What time is it? 9:05. I'm going to have to wrap this up soon. Sorry, guys. But the other real thing here is unemployment came in at 4.1. So that's a huge drop in unemployment. So if we go and take a look at this, and let's just do it. Let's just do it because we're all here. Give me 1 second. And then we'll just knock it out so that we understand what we're looking at. Please go away, please. Make sure you guys got it. Yeah, cool. So initial jobless claims came in great, right? But non-farm payrolls 147 versus 110 is huge. Unemployment was down. That's a big, big number to drop. Like, that's huge. When you go and take a look at that on the employment rate, we click on it and you see that 4.2, 4.1, 4.2, 4.1. Say it. So I don't know, man. Like, that's a big drop that you're not expecting. So let's go back. And so that's definitely going to help us here on, them not cutting rates, if that's how your bet is right now. So it's pretty interesting. I'm just watching, seeing the volume, where the volume is right now, what's going on. But participation rates down, who cares? Average weekly is down a little bit, but the continuing claims coming in line from the previous is something, but the government payrolls is huge. Like, he's going to have to explain that. I wonder if they're going to go look at the household survey. But if you go and look at that over 3 years, like, that's enormous. Like, that's like the whole Biden era thing, where he just kept adding jobs and jobs and jobs, saying, look how great the economy is. So you can see that in here. I mean, that's all he was doing. So like, we would watch it all the time, but I don't know. Is he doing that too? Is this current administration doing that? Or is that something to do with he couldn't fire who he thought he could fire? Either way, they're going to look at it and say, these people are employed. Therefore, I don't have to, I don't have to worry about the labor market. And the other side of that too, is he's just going to say, well, why am I cutting rates when unemployment is at 4.1%? Like, this is really going to kill his argument, right? And you could say hourly earnings are dropping, which they are, but the claims are down here. You're in line. You didn't jump, and unemployment's at 4.1%. So I'm going to go, guys. I got a bunch of stuff that I got to do, and I got a bunch of trades on. Here she goes. Unemployment, meanwhile, fell not because of flush of new jobs, but more people dropped out of the labor force and stopped looking for work. But the participation's not that off. I mean, the participation's not that off, Jeannie, is it? Where are we? Does a 0.1% move in participation get you there? Or maybe that's not accurate. Maybe it's worse than that. That number doesn't really reflect it. That could be it. The government jobs is huge. It definitely is an issue. I agree. Happy birthday, Jeannie. All right, I got to jump. Trade to win. Have a great weekend. May the fourth be with you.